Hi, welcome to Let's Talk Tech. This month, we're going to revisit a couple of segments on the internet and streaming because that is something going on in the community right now where we're looking at our options for the future. And I'll also discuss the difference between microwave transmission, 5G, and regular cable transmission of internet. So stay tuned.
Attention Laguna Woods homeowners. Upgrade your bathroom with luxury bath designs of Orange County and enjoy up to $4,000 off or 20% savings, whichever is greater. We bring everything right to your door: fixtures, faucets, flooring, walls, and more. No hassle, no stress. Our expert team will design a space that's beautiful, comfortable, and safe. Call now or visit luxurybathdesigns.com to schedule your consultation. Luxury, comfort, and peace of mind, just one call away.
So let's talk again about streaming services and the options you have here in Laguna Woods Village. Our broadband, at the very basic level, you can have a cable connection in your wall that goes directly to your TV, and you'll get local channels, foreign language channels, Channel 6, and much more. This is included in the monthly HOA fee. There are no options to record this content. You can also add a splitter to this cable and push the signal to your TV and router simultaneously. That's what I use, easy and no extra cost. Going from there, you have the option to add a digital box with TiVo at an additional monthly cost, and this includes the ability to record content to a DVR. If you want premium channels like HBO or Showtime, those also come at an additional cost. But for streaming, there are services such as YouTube TV, Hulu Plus Live, Sling TV, which all offer many of the channels you watch via the internet, streaming directly to your television. And you can package up premium channels or buy those channels independently. Again, you'll need a smart TV or streaming device to your TV to do any of this. But it is good to know that there's other options in case you want to just use streaming, which is often referred to as cutting the cord. So how do you choose live TV streaming services that are best for you? Of course, one of the biggest concerns, the available channels for each of those options. Getting a great deal on price is nice, but is it really worth it if you don't have access to the channels you watch and enjoy the most? Many people who want to cut the cord do not take the action because they're afraid of losing out on their favorite TV channels, including their cable or satellite packages. Also, the ability to use that familiar remote may change, and that's true. But don't worry too much about that. Many of the new options include voice control in your remote. Be sure, though, to check the list of channels with the company before choosing, and be sure that what they have is what you want. Each of these options have websites where you can fully research these features, functions, channels, options, and all the prices. And here's a couple considerations for features. How much storage your cloud DVR will offer and how many concurrent streams you can have are details that some cable users may take for granted. But they can potentially make or break the streaming experience in your household. Pay close attention to the details on features as you review each of those companies' websites for details. So what about Amazon Prime and Netflix? Well, these are actually types of streaming services often referred to as video on demand or VOD streaming services. The major difference between live TV streaming and video on demand streaming is the type of content available. The live TV streaming services carry what many would consider traditional cable or satellite TV networks as their primary sources of content. A VOD streaming services that has a library of content and it's always available to you as a paying subscriber. That means you can binge watch seasons of a show you like or watch movies at any time. Each cord-cutting household is a little bit different when it comes to standards for satisfaction from a live TV streaming services. But in the end, the conclusions are usually drawn from some method of determining the price, the channel availability, and the features. So in order to pick the right TV streaming services, you'll probably want to set your own personal parameters for each factor. Then do your own research. Most of these services offer some form of a free trial and don't require long-term commitment, so consider auditioning a couple of them before committing to one for the long-term contract. And now we're going to go into the Village Television Studios and chat with Paul Ortiz. Hi, Paul.
Hey,
How are
Debbie.
you?
Great. How are you doing?
What you doing?
Well, this is actually, obviously one of our TVs that we use here on this day, and we use it for other programs. But, nowadays, these smart TVs are almost like computers, right? So I was just updating some of the software and some of the apps that are included with a lot of these smart TVs. So, we have Netflix, Prime. Obviously, we don't subscribe here, but people in the home seem to be taking to that pretty well nowadays.
I see that. I see by our numbers that people are finally doing streaming, and, really that's taking over.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially in the United States, 88% of homes actually stream in some way. And I was just checking out some of the stuff that we do at my house, and 64% of our data is all used to stream video. So, you can tell that everybody is really adapting to that. Instead of paying the higher prices of cable TV and satellite TV, they're now moving to these different, apps. And it also gives them a little more of a selection. If you're not a big sports fan and you just like Disney products or you just like Peacock products on NBC, then you can, pick out really what you like. And I think it's definitely where the future is going as far as consuming video content.
And that's kind of what, we talk a lot in the show about TV, smart TVs, streaming, and things like that, and the cost of things and everything's going up. But I find it fascinating that 64% of your data is going for streaming. And I think one of the things people get a little confused about is how much data do you need? But you have a big house with kids, and they're all using devices. In our community, we have, we're not as big of a place, but people would be surprised how many devices.
Oh, you'd be very surprised. I was talking to Jim Cook the other day, and we said, the average probably has 15, 20 devices, and everybody kind of went, wow, that's a lot. He ended up like almost 30, because you have to think about it. If you have a little leak detector that's electronic and it's on your Wi-Fi, and if you have an Alexa, or if you have one of those, meshes, all of those things, a Ring doorbell even, people don't realize that all those electronics and devices actually take bandwidth and use up your Wi-Fi network.
Yeah, and every little bit adds up. That's the thing. You think, it's just a Wi-Fi light bulb. You could tell Alexa, turn on my light, but that's a Wi-Fi connection.
Right.
And maybe it's just using a thread size, but still, if you start to add and you start to get like iPads and TVs and everything, it'll start to add up.
Yeah.
But the good news is we still today have pretty good speeds here.
We do have pretty good speeds. It reminded me of the days when I was a child, when your dad would always come by and, turn off the lights. Who left all these lights on? Well, it all added up, right?
Right.
And all those lights on in your room, even though you're not using them, are still taking up bandwidth. So it's interesting. We're working now with the ad hoc committee on broadband. And of course, our media and communications committee has always done an excellent job in trying to keep up with where we are technically. And then, of course, we always work with our partner, West Coast Internet, in providing the best broadband customer service. And then now we're talking about new technologies. The cable system was really upgraded in 1999, and that's when the fiber was actually put in the ground. And everybody talks about fiber now, but you've been utilizing fiber for 23 years now. So, y'all were kind of ahead of the curve back then. We are fortunate to have residents that were willing to pay it forward and to build the fiber system so people like you could move in and still work and enjoy entertainment on your phones and devices. And now we're kind of looking at, okay, what's the future? And, not only is it the infrastructure of it, but how are people like you going to now ingest content? How are you going to watch TV? How are you going to go on the internet? And what are you going to do, and how are you going to do it?
Well, I think one of the things that everybody needs to realize too is that the days where we had the television and we had, 3 channels, three or 4 major network channels, those days are really gone already.
Yeah.
And the fact that you can, watch apps like you see here to just, we've even got free TV. If you don't want to pay for an app,
Right.
there's watch free TV. I think every smart TV comes with its own form. This is a certain brand, and I have the same brand, but I think there's one called Tubi.
Yeah.
There's a lot of different free options. So I don't want people to feel like, well, if we're just streaming, we can never watch anything, because
Right.
that's not true.
Yeah.
There's a lot of free options out there, and there's still a device that you can plug in. It's an antenna, and you can get digital signals on it on your TV. So it's going to be a cafeteria style is what's going to
Right.
ultimately happen. Is you're going to have, okay, I'm going to pick this, and this, and it's going to cost me that amount of money,
Right.
and that's what I want to watch. So really, I've talked about this before on the show, making a list of what you actually watch, because a lot of times people are paying for things they're never even watching.
Right, and I think that's what's going to happen. A lot of these companies are going to go direct to consumer. Amazon, like you said, now has a app called Freebie, and that's all free programming. So like you said, a lot of these manufacturers, Roku's doing the same thing. They have their own channel, and if you want to just watch their content, you could easily do that. You don't have to buy Netflix. You don't have to buy ESPN Plus and Disney and all those things to have a huge variety of content. And then the other thing is too, everybody has a set-top box now. So that's kind of like your brains of building your programming content. Well, as people go to streaming, this is all going to be done in the cloud at some point. So it's kind of like, if I mention to my 14-year-old daughter, we used to have rabbit ears. She's going to look at me and go, rabbit ears?
Rabbit
Yeah,
ears.
that's exactly what she's going to think of. But that's how we used to, get our transmission of content.
Right.
Well, now it's up in the cloud. And then even next is something called Next Gen TV, which is a 3.0 new system that the government is actually rolling out and testing in major markets. And that'll bring us HD, 4K kind of content, and also bring you data. So that'll be kind of nice when that is actually rolled out to America, which hopefully will happen in the next 3 to 5 years.
Yeah, and that was another thing. You and I have talked about this before. We started talking about this a few years ago in our broadband ad hoc committee. And now all of a sudden we thought, we have 10 years. No, because technology changes so rapidly that period has come down and shrunk into just, like you said, 3 to 5 years versus we thought we might have 5 to 10 years. It's
Right.
not so.
Yeah, the most important part for us, and we had this presentation by the broadband group just last week,
Yes.
is that infrastructure, that backbone is always going to be some kind of fiber, whether it's the fiber we have in the ground today or whether it's the new fiber that goes into the network at some point. We're changing, remember the old tin can communication trick? Well, the string is always really going to be our fiber. And that's really where everyone is and still going. If you listen to the broadband group that is doing for the government and for rural markets, they're not talking about doing satellite and Wi-Fi and all this stuff and microwaving. They're talking about putting fiber in the ground. So you have fiber. So what we need to do is just change the cans, I would say every 10 or 15 years, because technology will change. And then that's really, the extent of a major upgrade or a major rebuild.
And that was very visionary when this community was developed,
Right.
to have the wherewithal to know that we were going to need something so far in the future.
Yeah.
But we have
And
it.
we were lucky because, I've met Ross Cortese a couple of times. He's I want to say vanity, but the reason we really have conduit in the ground is because he did not like antennas. He thought they were ugly, and he didn't want them on his brand new homes. And we are so fortunate he was, such a forward-thinking person that actually did direct buried coaxial cable.
And that's interesting too, because having things in the ground is so much safer for any kind of like natural disasters for the most part. Like the unfortunate people in Florida,
Right.
because if anything was above ground, it was gone.
Yeah.
And they were able to communicate in the areas that had the underground. So that's something people don't even think about. Everybody's so used to just turning on a button and everything works.
Well, the majority of the country actually has all of their equipment on telephone poles.
Wow.
In California, Find me another telephone pole that's, especially here in South Orange County. And then the other thing, like you said, not only are we, have coaxial cable and fiber in the ground, but we actually have it in conduit. So it's a plastic tube that actually protects it from the elements even more. So, we're very fortunate. Our environment is pretty stable. And, unless there's a major earthquake or someone decides to dig up the street somehow and not notify us, that fiber in the conduit is pretty safe and should continue to work.
Right. But technology changes are not without some kind of cost, but we don't know what that is yet. So we will definitely be looking at that because we want to be able to offer the best that we can to our residents to keep them in connect, because some of our residents, this is their daily thing because they're homebound or they're not able to, they're not ambulatory and they need their televisions to be their companion. And,
absolutely.
And it's important to them. And I always have my TV on. Even if I'm not watching it, it's always Village Television, always on my TV.
And it's important, too, that we have nearly 11,000 subscribers taking broadband, high-speed internet now. So obviously, like you mentioned earlier, that pipe is getting full with users. So we need to find a way that we can provide faster service, faster speeds, and make sure that everybody's able to watch the content they want and still have whatever devices in their home. And that's what we're looking into in the future.
Right, that's exactly it. And I'm so glad that we had this time today. And I always love all the apps. And then I think, why am I not watching that? Or why am I not watching that? There's only so many hours in the day.
Yeah. Well, thanks for coming by Village Television. It's always good to talk to you.
I love it here. This is my home away from home. And we'll be right back.
At Caring Senior Service, our commitment to great care begins with our values. We've been dedicated to excellence, service, responsibility, professionalism, learning, rewards, teamwork, and family. Our values guide us to empower quality caregivers, deliver personalized care solutions, and maintain active involvement with families. We empower our clients and their families to live healthy, happy lives at home.
So, as we've been discussing the differences between streaming and internet and all the other services, recently a question came up regarding fiber versus microwave versus 5G, which is basically a battle of the bandwidth. So, let me talk a little bit about that. In today's digital age, high-speed internet has become an essential utility. But how does this data actually travel from the internet to your devices? So I'm going to dive in a very basic way to the three primary technologies of transmission, which are fiber, microwave, and 5G. Fiber optic cable is the speed racer. It is the gold standard. How it works is that fiber optic cables use thin strands of glass to transmit data as pulses of light. This technology offers incredible high speeds and low latency, which means no drag and buffering. The pros are the speed. It offers the highest and fastest internet speeds possibly available. It's very reliable. It's less susceptible to interference and weather conditions. And talking about capacity, it can handle massive amounts of data. Some of the cons are installation cost. Installing fiber can be expensive, but it's well worth the money you'll spend. With regards to microwave, the sky's the limit. How it works. Microwave technology transmits data over radio waves. These waves travel through the air, typically between microwave towers. The pros are that it's got flexibility. Microwave can be deployed quickly and is often used for backhaul networks, which means a backup. It can cover long distances, so that's a pro. The cons are significant. Interference. Weather conditions and other radio signals can interfere with microwave transmission, and it has limited capacity compared to fiber. Microwave has much lower capacity. So let's also talk about 5G, the new kid on the block. How it works is that 5G is the latest generation of cellular technology, and you see it and you hear about it on your phones. It uses high frequency radio waves to deliver faster speeds and lower latency, again, that buffering. The pros of 5G are that it offers significantly faster speeds than previous generations of cellular technology, and it has what we call low latency, which is that buffering, and it makes it ideal for real-time applications like gaming and video conferencing, which we used a lot of during the pandemic. The cons are the coverage. 5G coverage is still being rolled out and may not be available in all areas, and you need a close-by tower. It's also a higher frequency, and it makes that more susceptible to interference and have a shorter range as well. So, how do you decide what's best for you? Or, in this case, our community? The best technology for us depends on our specific needs. And for us, fiber. It's the ideal for our manors and homes and our clubhouses, which require the highest speeds and reliability. It's suitable for our networks, and we can already put it into the ground because we already have the conduit. Now, 5G is great for our mobile devices in areas where fiber is limited or there's a fixed wireless structure. But as technology continues to evolve, we can expect even faster and more reliable internet connections. But by understanding the differences between these technologies, we can make an informed decision about our internet needs. And here, fiber optics is the future of our home internet. It again is the standard, and this is what we will need to put in to the community so that we have internet far into the future. Fiber optic cables are the next big thing, but they've been here a long time, believe it or not. And we're going to revolutionize the way we connect to the internet when we put in the fiber. So you might be wondering what's so special about this? Well, if you imagine those old copper cables as narrow winding road, very slow, sometimes you get lost. Fiber optic cables, on the other hand, are like a superhighway. They're made of tiny glass threads that can carry massive amounts of data at lightning fast speeds. That's what fiber is. And fiber is the best choice because it's blazing fast. It has faster than traditional cable internet, and you've all struggled with internet capabilities, I know. You'll be able now with fiber to download movies in seconds, stream 4K video without buffering, video chat with your grandkids without any lag, and it has rock solid reliability. Fiber is less susceptible to interference from weather, power outages, or other electronic devices. This means a more stable and reliable connection for your home. It's also future-proof. As technology advances, your internet needs will grow. We're looking at smart homes. Fiber is built for the future, ensuring you always have that bandwidth that you'll need to handle whatever comes your way. So we're looking to upgrade, and fiber is the clear winner for this community. It's a faster, more reliable, and ready for our future. We're not going to settle for anything less, and we're going to embrace the future of the internet connectivity here with fiber optics. So I hope that helps to explain the differences between fiber optics, 5G, and microwave transmissions, and why fiber optics are the clear winner and choice for our future. Thanks, and stay tuned.
Hoarding is a complicated subject, but it's something that can quickly become dangerous. Stockpiling items like newspapers, clothes, receipts, or more become unmanageable amounts of clutter, which develops into health and safety risks. The clutter becomes unsanitary and often full of flammable objects. If you or someone you know might be struggling with a hoarding disorder, contact Laguna Woods Village Social Services. Help keep your community safe and healthy by disposing of unwanted, unused, and unnecessary items.
As always, I thank you for watching Let's Talk Tech. And remember, be kind when posting online and think before you click. And stay tuned for next month's episode where I'll sit down with Paul Ortiz and we'll discuss the future of our broadband and internet services in the community and give you an update on the progress.
Whether you're tech challenged, use tech daily, or a tech geek like me, my show Let's Talk Tech has something for everyone. I'm Debbie Dotson, the host, and each month I bring a variety of information about the world of technology. My content is delivered in a basic way to help all my viewers, no matter what their skill level is, with technology. Watch us on Village Television or subscribe to the Village TV YouTube channel where you'll never miss an episode of Let's Talk Tech.